Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, the Commission of Inquiry into Child Sex Abuse in Institutional Settings has put the state's out-of-home care procedures under the spotlight. The system blasted for being a decade behind other states, with shocking figures revealing 1 complaint a week is being lodged. And a warning, some viewers might find this story distressing.
They are meant to be places of refuge for children unable to stay at home. However, Tasmania's out-of-home care network has been a place of trauma for too many vulnerable youth.
Roughly 1 in every 36 children in out-of-home care is the subject of at least 1 allegation of child sexual abuse.
The Commission is focusing this week on the system, housing 1,000 children each night. Figures collected show a staggering 439 allegations of sexual abuse were lodged between 2013 and 2021.
Equates to, on average, 52 allegations a year or 1 allegation per week. And of course we know that child sexual abuse is underreported.
A lack of professional standards facing criticism.
Work on standards for out-of-home care has been in train for some time, but there are no finalised standards in place. Such standards have existed at a national level since 2011.
Victims bravely speaking out chose to remain anonymous. The Director of Children and Family Services admitting a staff shortage is letting children down.
Each child has a child safety officer.
They ought to.
They ought to, do they?
No, because there's vacancies in the Child Safety Service.
Competition internally and externally for similar skills suggested as a factor.
We really are having a workforce planning problem.
The Director also telling the Commission more work needs to be done with Aboriginal children in care, including the department becoming more mature and understanding of their needs.
Starting from the advice and referral line to understand who their networks are.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
And if this story has caused you any concern, you can contact the Sexual Assault Support Service on 1800 697 877. The state government has doubled down on its commitment to close Ashley Youth Detention Centre within 3 years, even after further allegations surfaced about the troubled site in national media. It's also pushing for mandatory minimum sentencing for child sex offenders, but convincing the rest of Parliament to support the legislation could prove a tough task.
In a few months' time, this site will put a roof over the heads of 26 young people at risk of homelessness.
We're partway through a $17 million development and investment by the taxpayer to support young people to achieve independence in life. Some 26 apartments for 26 young Tasmanians.
Giving them a chance to link up with TAFE and turn their life around.
It's not just about education and employment, it's about health and wellbeing. It's about life skills.
Child safety was raised in Parliament after disturbing allegations surfaced regarding Ashley Youth Detention Centre on 60 Minutes, outlining decades of abuse at the troubled site.
Of the credible sexual assault allegations you discovered, how many were reported to the police?
The sexual assault allegations? None.
The Premier was grilled on the issue in question time this morning.
Have you seen the program? Are the allegations being investigated? And has it changed your view on the timeline for the closure of the Ashley Youth Detention Centre?
Jeremy Rockcliffe promising action has been taken, but wouldn't commit to closing the facility any sooner than 2024.
This has included taking necessary action to stand down employees while investigations are underway.
Today, the government tabled legislation allowing mandatory minimum jail time for serious sex offences against children, but it won't get the support of Labor and the Greens.
So the way that the government has structured this legislation, they know full well will actually not deter offending, and it won't encourage offenders to plead guilty. It won't serve victims well. The evidence is clear on that.
Or independent Christy Johnston.
I have studied and understand some of the issues around sentencing, and I'll be certainly reading a number of reports, including the Sentencing Advisory Council report and its thoughts on minimum mandatory sentencing.
One thing all members can agree on is the need to protect the state's most vulnerable. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
A woman has fled a frightening fire which destroyed her home in Perth. It's the 6th major house fire in just 3 days, prompting a warning about wood heaters as a chill sets in.
A fireball leaps into the freezing midnight sky on Arthur Street in Perth. A bang woke startled neighbours.
Pretty scary. Firemen running and police.
This morning, the gutted brick home was a blackened mess. The damage bill is set to reach $350,000. The inferno's heat was so intense, it melted parts of a Holden Commodore parked in the driveway outside the home's lounge room.
5 crews approximately an hour to contain the fire.
The likely cause stems from the wood heater. Investigators suspect a bookcase close to the fireplace ignited, sending flames rushing around the room.
That's where crews seen most fire activity when they arrived on scene, and there are some combustible materials in and around the wood heater.
A woman was inside the home when the blaze erupted. Luckily, she made it out safely, but was taken to hospital as a precaution. It adds to a disastrous spate of fires in recent days. These pictures reveal the true ferocity of Sunday's blaze at Red Hills near Deloraine. As temperatures drop below zero in parts of the state, the need to take care around fireplaces is more crucial than ever.
It is very cold at the moment, and it's a really good reminder for people when they're using wood heaters to maintain a safe distance of 2 metres with all combustible materials.
To avoid a similar fate to this, Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania has recorded its 81st COVID death. A person in their 90s has passed away in the state's south, the first death since last Wednesday. 658 new cases were also recorded as active cases dropped to just over 3,500. 42 people remain in hospital with the virus. 18 of those are being treated specifically for it. Thousands of Tasmanians are still waiting to have power reconnected as the storm cleanup continues. Tas Networks says fallen trees and extensive damage is slowing down the process in the north and northwest.
2,000 Tasmanians spending a third day without power following the weekend's ferocious weather event, leaving many in the cold.
It's just been freezing, so we've just been rugging up, climbing into sleeping bags. I've been drinking port. To keep warm.
The storms have been described as a tornado tearing through the town, leaving a trail of destruction.
When the storm hit, trees were going down, the house was shaking, metal was coming off the roof.
Been feeling sick actually, physically ill, because you worry about the boys and they were frightened. It was a very, very frightening thing. The whole house was shaking and we were sort of looking at each other going, oh, this is it.
The extent of the damage still largely unknown.
I wasn't expecting the level of damage here. I've been in other parts of the municipality where there is damage as well, but coming through Claude Road, it quite shocked me actually to see the amount of trees down and the amount of fences down.
Checking in and reassuring his community.
I was heartened by the amount of people who are helping other people, so that's the nice things about living in a small community. People, probably some new friendships will come out of this.
As the clean-up in Kentish continues, fallen trees are posing a barrier to reconnecting homes. Tas Networks inspected the worst of the aftermath at Sheffield.
This is just one of the sites that we have. Quite significant damage. Lots of trees had to be cleared away first before we could restore our assets. We've all of our crews and contractors working hard.
90% of impacted customers are now back online, but with crews forced to navigate damage like this, some customers could be in the dark for at least another day. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
A proposed push for the West Tamar to become a city has been shot down. The council debated Peter Carney's motion to hold an electoral poll and let residents decide if they wanted it.
It's my view that acquiring city status would be a really good next step for our municipality. It would be significant in asserting and building our identity.
We don't even look like a city. Where's the Centrelink office? Where's the main post office?
The motion defeated 4 votes to 5. This was the second attempt by Councillor Carney to pass the motion. There's just one sleep before foodies can dig into a range of Saturnalia-themed delicacies. Event organisers spent the day setting up Hobart's winter feast. 80 stalls will be feeding the crowds, 25 of which are making their first dark mofo appearance.
Winter feast stall holders across the board really try and do something out of the ordinary, so something different to what they would normally do. so they tend to experiment with ingredients.
We're anticipating throughout the night up to 15,000 people coming through the doors.
It will run for 5 nights, with the public warned to get in early to beat the queues. This Divali will make a long-awaited return to its spiritual home. The city park will host the food and wine extravaganza for the first time since 2020, when it's held in February 2023. With a location locked in, they just need the tucker and the tipple. Stallholder applications are on the website. Northwest coasters will soon have another link to the mainland. From August, regional airline Rex will fly between Melbourne and Devonport. The company says a new service is made possible by the cancellation of its Melbourne to Albury route. It's Rex's third Tasmanian destination. Pricing and frequency details are yet to be released. Tasmania's marine watchdog is pleading with boaties to be safe on the water with the help of a new campaign. Short videos feature local boating experts, one who experienced a traumatic incident several years ago.
It was a regular day when boating coach Sarah Sargent headed out across the waters in high spirits. But in a matter of seconds, things took an ugly turn when the 15-year-old flipped overboard.
As the propeller was just coming towards me, I happened just to put my elbow up like that as a reflex, and it just happened to hit my elbow as opposed to my head, which, the surgeon told me at the time could have killed me.
The incident, no fault of her own, was costly, causing her immense trauma along with the physical injuries as she distanced herself from the sport she had grown to love.
It took me up to a year to be able to fully straighten my elbow again. Lots of physio, psychologist appointments to get me back to be able to come to the sailing club. 4 years on and fully recovered, Sarah is using her second chance to plead with others to keep to speed limits. She'll be appearing in social media videos aimed at stopping the problem.
The key message to young boaters is to not be complacent, be prepared, and to speak up if you're feeling uncomfortable on a boat.
Also making an appearance in the educational videos is winner of the International Cadet World Championships, Hugo Allison.
There's so many things that can go wrong, and I guess you'd address every single one of them as soon as you do step foot on the boat.
Some safety precautions include having a keel cord on the quay, as well as life jackets, a flare kit and VHF radio on deck. But most importantly, a prop guard on the propeller.
If that was on the boat that struck my elbow at the time, this whole thing probably could have been prevented.
18 fatalities were recorded on the state's seas in the 5 years leading up to December 2021. Brianna Boylan at 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian children are sharing their stories about living in foster and out-of-home care. Their book, OK, So a Nest is a Home, was officially launched today by the Commissioner for Children and Young People, providing insights and feedback from youth who have first-hand experience in the system. With the Commission of Inquiry currently looking into the sector, experts say it's important those children have a say in their care.
We need to make sure that it is their voices as experts in their own lives that is guiding this system into the future.
The book will be available in all Tasmanian libraries. Staff from emergency food relief organisation Lowys Fishers have had a cool start to the day, testing the winter waters ahead of their solstice splash events. They're hoping to raise $50,000 to distribute 100,000 meals across the state, helping Tasmanians doing it tough this winter.
Almost 1 in 5 Tasmanians have to make the choice between heating or eating.
Participants are required to raise a minimum of $50 if they wish to take the plunge come June 19 or 25, with registrations now open.
Riverside Olympics Nathaniel Atkinson was part of last night's team, playing the full 90 minutes before being substituted when the game went to extra time. He made his presence known with a number of touches and even a yellow card after holding back Peru's Christian Cueva. He will become the first Tasmanian Socceroo to play at a FIFA World Cup if he makes the final squad. After being dropped by the Brisbane Lions, Hobart's Jess Wushner has found a new home. She's off to Essendon, which snapped up the AFLW Premiership player and All-Australian team member ahead of its entry into the competition next season. Wushner has 38 games under her belt, including the 2021 flag with the Lions. Burnie basketballer Jacob Furphy is among the top scorers in Australia's one-sided onslaught in the FIBA Under-16 Asian Championship. Furphy scored 15 points and had 5 rebounds for the Crocodiles, which beat host nation Qatar 104-27. Devonport's Kai Savage scored 9. The Aussies are playing Bahrain in their last pool game. And the Derwent Sailing Squadron has overcome plenty of obstacles to take out the Australian women's keelboat regatta. After missing one of the 6 races due to a damaged boat and needing to finish 3 spots clear of the overnight leader, the team had a remarkable run home to narrowly claim victory. The 8-strong Tassie team also took out the prize for sportsmanship for standing by a person overboard early on in the regatta.
Good evening. Hobart a high of 12 today, Launceston 10 and Burnie top of 13. And after a cold start, most maximum temperatures were close to the June average. The overnight low was -8 though at Lyowini, and today 14 the highest at St Helens and Flinders Island. King Island, Wynyard, Friendly Beaches, Grove and Strawn all 13 degrees. Low-level cloud moved over us today, bringing only partly cloudy conditions to the state. There is more low cloud over parts of South Australia and Victoria. The rest of the country is relatively clear, apart from southern and central coastal WA. Tomorrow a low is just southwest of Victoria, pushing troughs to the north, a weak ridge of high pressure, the other feature on the synoptic chart. North to northwesterly winds up to 20 to 30 knots over the north and west, becoming northeasterly over the south later. The ocean less angry, with swells around 2 metres. A strong wind warning has been issued though for waters between Low Rocky Point and the northern tip of Flinders Island. Wednesday for Hobart, a shower or 2 and 12 degrees. 11 the top for Geefston, showery. Bothwell showery, a top of 10. Launceston showers, 13 the maximum. Same for Devonport. Cressy looking for a top of 11 degrees. Burnie, of course, a shower or 2 and 13. Same for Strawn, 14 the top for Curry on King Island. And St Helens showers increasing later in the day, 13 the maximum, 13 also for Swansea and Orford. On Thursday, showers over the north contracting to the northeast before clearing later. Light showers over the west and far south on Friday, extending over most districts in the afternoon and evening. And on Saturday, mainly fine and partly cloudy, maybe a shower over the east. Showers increasing for Perth tomorrow, wet weather also for Adelaide and Melbourne. Sunny in Sydney, partly cloudy and 22 in Brisbane. Cloudy in Hobart, 7 at the moment, 8 degrees in Launceston, showery in Devonport and 7, we think. We haven't been getting any data from the Devonport weather station since the 12th of this month. Kim, we need someone to pop out to the airport to the white box and turn it back on for us.
As simple as that, I don't think so, Murph. Thank you. That is all your news for now. We'll be back later with updates. See you again soon.